guys, Samantha from GSM Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you another technique to use up your scraps. So these are the scraps from my dragon fruit earrings, and there should be a link in the description below to that, but I have kept those leftovers and today we are going to be using it to create a Sutton slice. You can use any leftovers you want for this, just make sure that they're nice, bright and colourful. And I also have a Skinner blend left over and some white that was speckled with some paint. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of gold alcohol ink to the mix, and the background will be black clay, but we'll get to that later. So I'm just going to put this to the side for the moment. Just wanted to show you what leftovers we're going to be using. Again, any leftovers you want will work. And here's the stamp I'm going to be using. Any stamp should work so long as it's relatively deep. And I'm just going to grab that off the plastic. And also another thing I wanted to mention with the texture stamp is that it needs to be flexible for this technique. Okay, and before we start anything, I'm just going to grab some of the gold alcohol ink. You can use gold paint as well. I wouldn't use mica powder just because it means that you're going to have something that is it's going to prevent the backing clay from sticking, whereas alcohol ink and paint aren't quite as stick proof as mica powder, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to dab that around the surface because I want some gold tints to my Sutton slice. Okay, and there we go. And that is going to show up on the black as well later on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the leftovers that we have and just to go about it the same way that I usually would with a Sutton slice, where you just kind of stick it into the pattern like so. And I'm just going to do this one flower here where I press the clay in like so. Then just take a blade and just shimmy it up like so. And this you can reuse, just grab it again, bundle it into some more of the texture and just keep going along the either the whole stamp or as far as you want to go, because you don't have to do the entire stamp, just do it as much as you need it to be. Okay, and there we go, it's all finished. And you should be able to see from the front what it's going to look like. And you'll also be able to see whether you got it nice and clean, because you might want to go over with the knife a few times. Then just going to bring over our piece of black clay. And I'm going to lay that over the surface. And I'm leaving some extra black because we can easily trim that off. We don't need to worry about that being wasted later on. And it just gives us a little more room to move. Okay. Press this down into the stamp. And I'm only making as much of the Sutton slice as I need, because once you've used the scraps, they do get quite muddy, and so you won't really be able to use them a second time with this, so I don't like to use more than I need. Okay. And I'm just really burnishing that clay in there. Lift that up and you can see how that looks from the front. I'm going to place that down onto the tile, give it another burnish, and that way it will be really stuck down. Then you're going to slowly curl this up, and I'm going to see if I can come up at it from a different angle so that you can see better. And this is why I wanted the extra black, because it gives us some room to move. there, and hopefully you can see there how it looks. Usually I would do this towards me so that I could see, but I want you guys to be able to see. Okay, just lift it up, and if any pieces lift up, like I can't really see, there's one over there, just press it back down a few times until it presses back into the clay. And just do that for the whole piece. I'm going to do it from this side now because it's a little difficult doing it that way. But yeah, it should be relatively easy. The stickier your backing clay, like the black, the easier this will be. And there we go. Got quite a nice clean one. And you can easily clean that with just a toothbrush and some isopropyl alcohol. Okay, and I just trimmed around the outside with a craft knife, and then you can just remove that. And any little scrappy bits, like for instance the gold, you can just mix that back in and it won't cause a problem. Now you can cut out your pieces. Okay, then I've taken that little white bit that I showed you earlier, that's leftovers, and I'm going to be using that as a background. So I've got my two convex spearheads here, and this is my largest one, this is my third largest one. And I'm just going to choose a nice spot that I think looks pretty. Okay, I think that looks nice. Cut that out. Might stick in the cutter just a little bit, but it'll be easy to pop that out. Just run your finger along the side to clean it up, like so. Then I'm going to pop it down onto here, and I'm just going to see whereabouts I want to cut this piece. So I'd like it roughly in the middle here. And before I tap it down, I'm just going to double check that. Yep. Okay. Gently tap it down. You can even use a piece of paper to do that so you don't end up with fingerprints. Then line up your cutter. Okay. I've lined it up so that the top has a little more space than the bottom. And then I will cut that out. And again, it will stick in the cutter a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. Oh, it didn't actually. Had it stuck to the paper well enough for that. And there we go. Then I'm just going to clean up the edges a bit. Then pick that up, like so. And the back also is nice and speckled because that's the leftovers that we used. Just going to run my fingers around the sides to remove any fuzzy bits. Grab a doming tool. Line that up so that it's in the middle, and then gently press it onto the surface. It does not need to be perfectly in line with the doming tool, I just want it to have a light dome when it comes out of the oven. Put that in the oven for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature, and then we can finish it off. Okay, and while that's in the oven, I've just flattened out the Sutton slice, and I'm going to make a bead out of it. Clay's a little brittle for some reason after I ran it out, so excuse the fact that it's cracked a bit, but that's okay. So just going to use a little bit to create a centre. We don't want a huge bead. So just create a centre, and then I'm just going to rip off a little bit of that, and then wrap that around the centre. Make sure I don't have too much. Okay, and you're not really going to be able to keep a lot of the image, but you'll get the general pattern. There you go. Move this out the way. Okay, gonna grab a piece of paper and another piece, pop that down, grab an acrylic block and just use that to press down to create a nice even piece, and then cut out your hole. And there we go, we've got a very simple, easy little bead. Bake that with your piece for an hour and then I'll show you what it looks like assembled. And here is our piece all finished up. So we've got a slight dome on this, and then I did put the bead on using a little bit of a wire technique. There are many channels that cover those in great detail. I haven't on this channel, but if you want me to, let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in me showing these assembling parts, because generally a lot of you drop off on the videos around that point, so I don't want to include parts that you found boring. So just let me know in the comments below if you're interested in seeing that, and I might actually make a separate video showing how to do that. But yeah, that is basically it. Let me just bring you in so you can see how that looks. And this is a really cute way to use a Sutton slice. Obviously you can use the same beach or pendant shape but with a different centerpiece. You can also create Sutton slices without leftovers because they do come out a little muddy. I quite like how this looks because of how we've put it together, but you can do Sutton slices with solid colours. So try that out if you want to. But yeah, that's basically it for the tutorial. If you liked it, please do consider leaving a like on the tutorial and subscribing if you're not. And I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.